Hello, good evening,
Hi.
ma'am. My name is Palak Jandal, and I am a mother of 3-year old.
3-year-old child. Okay.
I am from Mohali, Punjab.
My name is Bhageshri
Oh,
Janekar, mother
acha.
of Anvi. Mother of
Oh,
Anvi.
mother of Anvi. Okay.
She is 8 years old. I am from Nagpur, Maharashtra.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. I am Kavita Reddy from Hyderabad, ma'am. My daughter name is Sri Kruti. She's 5.5 years, ma'am.
5.5. Great.
I'm
Okay.
from
Welcome.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
I am Bhavna Mahajan. I am a homemaker. And my child name is Anubhav. He is in 8th class.
Okay. And that's nice. Welcome, Bhavna. So, hi, I'm Chandra, and I'm with ELF English. And basically, we're having this workshop mainly for parents, where we as parents want to help our children learn English. Right. So, I'm sure there are parents, I mean, moms from the age of children from 3-year-old and going up to, I think, 12, 13 years old. So, I'm going to keep today's session generic, where we will learn what are the main problems with English learning in our current in the way we approach it today, and one simple technique how we can help our kids learn better. So that's going to be the focus of this workshop. Yeah, so today's workshop is for parents, and it is on a few tips how to teach our child or how to teach our children English. Okay, so here we're going to be discussing a lot of tips and techniques for learning English. But before that, just to introduce ourselves, my name is Chandra and I'm part of ELF English. So at ELF, what do? We make English learning easy and fun. So, of course, you know that if things are not fun for small children, they will not learn it. So we make sure it's fun and it's also easy to learn. So we want to make sure that English skills are there for everybody, not just, some of the children studying in very elite schools or living in a particular location. We want to make sure that everybody has basic English skills. So what have we been doing for the past several years is actually we've been working on a lot of research on how children learn English. And with this research, we also conduct our own classes. So apart from parents, helping parents teach English to their children, we also teach them English. So many parents have also enrolled their kids in our classes. We do this online so that we can reach children all over India on both reading as well as speaking in English. And apart from this, we've also developed a lot of videos, kits, small resource kits, which, they can play with and learn, and workbooks that help children learn English very fast, because we don't have so much time after they go to middle school, etc. It becomes very difficult to get the child's time. So for accelerated, like fast speed learning, how do we get children to learn that? So we've developed a lot of resource materials in this content area. And our live online classes are all based on this research of how to accelerate children's learning, how to push them ahead very soon. So it's very interactive. We have classes for kindergarten, which is focused on phonics and reading, classes for 1 and 2 children, which are mainly focused on conversation, vocabulary, little bit of grammar, and reading with a lot of comprehension. So that's the focus in class 1 and 2. And class 3, 4, 5, it is about expression, trying to write more, trying to read better, to understand a little bit in more of indirect questions. So we focus a lot of our work in 3rd standard to 5th standard in these skills. So our classes are very interactive. We have small batches. I know a lot of people would have sent to, school online classes and felt that, okay, no, children cannot learn online. But we've seen that with small batches of 8 children, we are able to ensure that every child learns. So we have these classes ongoing, and you can get in touch with us if you're interested for your children. Anyway, so what did our research show? So we did, so before we even started these classes, we did a lot of studying as to how children learn English, what are the problems, and we found there are huge gaps in English teaching. Why many children, why many of the adults also, we are very, hesitant to speak in English. We don't want to speak in front of others because we are a little shy. what is it that is a problem in our country about English teaching? And I think one of the things is teachers and in general as parents, all of us, we use a lot of incorrect techniques. So when the technique is not right, then what happens is the child loses motivation, loses confidence, and says, okay, I don't want to learn English. English is very difficult. It's not for me. So that's the feeling that a lot of children get right in the beginning years. So after that, it is very difficult to go back to the first and, trying to unlearn it. So it's very difficult to unlearn a wrong technique. So this results in children having very low skills. They may just memorize their textbook. They may just write the answer. But if you look at English skills, it's more than that. So they don't acquire the real English skills that we want them to acquire. Then the last one is, of course, there are good techniques and they're very simple. It's really, really easy to learn and to follow. But one has to first understand these techniques. We have to focus and make sure we use them with our children. Like today's workshop, if you just come, listen and go back, and then we go back to our old methods, it's not going to help our children. Unless we use it and help them practice every day in these techniques, using these techniques, the change of moving from the mother tongue to English will not come for the child. So this is something that we have seen. So we've actually come up with about 17 different techniques to learn English. Some of them are in reading, some of them are in speaking English. For example, we have for phonics, we have a technique called double ending blends. Then we have graded steps. So how you move very slowly from one place, from one point to the other for the child. We also have something called big picture, big text. We call this technique big picture, big text. I'll explain a little bit of this little later. Then we have something called stretching sentences. How do you stretch the sentence? So that's a very, very important technique. I'll be going deeply into that today. Some techniques for spelling, some for speaking, ask and say. Very, very useful technique to make children move from mother tongue to English. We've developed about 17 different techniques, and I'm going to take you through some, just a few of them today, but we'll be talking first about Leela's story. So I want to just tell you the story about Leela. So this is Leela, and Leela's mom has admitted Leela in an English medium school. So she believes that this will help Leela learn English, right? So most of the parents feel this way. All of us feel that we've put our child in a good school, and the child so hence will learn to read and speak English. So what happens after that? So Leela's mom makes her practice her textbook lessons every day. So every day they said they read sentences, they write, they learn the question answers, they go and, she helps her learn the lesson. So hoping that Leela will score well in English. What happens? She also makes her memorize a lot of words, a lot of grammar rules. You know how grammar rules are, right? You have nouns, adjectives, adverbs, all of these things. So she gets her to memorize these grammar rules, gives her a lot of practice. But what happens finally to Leela? Leela starts hating English and she says, I don't like English. I don't even like reading anymore. I don't want to read, right? So she's very demotivated at this point. Finally, her report card comes and Leela has not done well in English. So her mom is very worried now. So she goes and asks Leela, why didn't you do well? You read so many dinosaur books at home. All the time you're reading some dinosaur facts and telling me. Why don't you learn English in school, right? So Leela says, in school, we don't read about dinosaurs. That's the problem. It's not about how that I don't like reading, but in school we read something else. The teacher is saying something else. We don't read about dinosaurs. I don't read anything that I like, or I don't interact with any of the stories that I really like. That's what Leela says. So finally, Leela and her mother decide. So they struggle with English a lot, and finally they decide. Already Leela goes to 4th standard, 5th standard. The teachers are putting pressure. Every PTA meeting, Leela's mother goes there and something or the other, there is some complaint or the other. So Leela and her mother decide, okay, English is not important. Now it's time to focus on math and science, right? So let's focus on maths and science because that's what is going to be important in middle school and high school. So I've just used this mug to show you that. So this is a ungrammatical English sentence, but English is important, but maths is importanter or more important. Then Leela has her math test and she comes across this problem in her math paper. This is not an English paper, it's a maths paper. Can one of you quickly mentally work this out and tell me what is the answer to this problem? Yeah.
12:30.
Yeah. So 12:30 is right. So 7:30, he started his test. He completed it in 3 hours, which means 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. And then 2 hours after that, 11:30 and then 12:30 p.m. His mother returned home. Now, if you see, this is a very simple calculation. There was nothing to do. There's no big working out. There's no multiplication. There's no arithmetic. There's no addition, nothing. All you need to know is to read and understand the words. So this is not actually a maths problem, right? It is maths, but it actually involves English skills. So even for maths, so although Leela's mother realized or decided that English was not important, let me focus on math and science, ultimately only in class 1 and 2 you will get numbers. If you see the class 3, 4, 5 and after that the maths paper or the science paper, it's full of words. So unless children can actually understand the words and not just understand it but also be able to reason it out, they have those language skills. Unless they have English skills, they don't do well even in a math test. So this is something that we need to keep in mind. So I've just put this as the myth 4, where we feel, our parents feel that maths and science is what is going to actually help my child excel at academics, not English. But if you see more closely, you'll find that English skills are required for all the subjects, not just science and social science, but also specifically mathematics. Right. So we saw a lot of common myths or common misconceptions that as parents we have, and it's possibly, why do we have these misconceptions? Why do all of us mostly feel that these things that we should read the textbook, we should teach them a lot of words and grammar rules, that English is for the exams. Why do we feel this? Because actually there are 2 types of English. Right, I've just used Englishes. It's wrong English, but it helps you understand. There are 2 kinds of English. One is a subject English. The second is the language English. So can someone just share your views on what you think subject English is teaching us at school? When English is taught as a subject in school, what is it teaching us? Can anybody share your thoughts?
It means literature, books.
When English is taught as a subject, what does that mean? What do we learn?
Subject English means, ma'am, regarding some lessons are there, poems are there, and that is a methodology, ma'am, teaching that English subject.
Correct.
Glossary, adjective, everything is involved. Language English means, ma'am, what we are communicating.
Exactly.
What we are communicating.
Exactly. Yes, but more importantly, when you learn English in school only as a subject, you're actually just learning that lesson. Whether we are acquiring the English skills for that, we don't know. We are memorizing the words in that lesson. We are memorizing the answers. We are memorizing the facts of that lesson. So English as a subject involves those things, and poems, of course. But language English means our ability to understand anything, not just that lesson. Understand somebody else, what someone is saying, understand when someone is reading the news, understand when someone is giving us a storybook and we try to read the story, understand another person's point of view, try to say our ideas, to talk about our ideas, what we feel, what we think. That is language English, where we use it to not just communicate, we use it to express, to be creative, to actually form a picture of everything in our mind. So that is what language English is about. So schools usually, I'm not saying all schools, but most schools teach subject English. So we learn to memorize in English in school. But how can our children learn language English, which is what is very, very important, because only then we can use English. Otherwise, it will remain a lesson. And if English has to be used in all subjects, then we need the language English. How can you do that? Well, the answer is with you. And as parents, we have to take that initiative to make sure our children learn English as a language, right? So we have these two Englishes. One is a subject English and a language English. We say subject English usually is done by the school. But what is more important in life is the language English, for which we have to take efforts to make sure our children learn. Okay, so today we are going to look at this one technique in great detail. And in our future workshops, we can do more of the others. So this is called the stretching sentences technique, specifically which helps children in reading English more easily. Okay, so let's start. Now, you assume that your child is, say, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years old, early stages, or even 4 years old, and they can read small words. And now we want them to start reading stories. So usually when we want to move from words to stories, what we do is we give them a lot of reading practice, right? We'll read out storybooks. And so there are a lot of sentences in these storybooks. So if you see, there is one stage between words and story, and that is the sentence level, right? So it's a very, very important level for them to jump from words to sentences, to stories. So don't forget the sentence stage, and we have to give a lot of importance to reading sentences before you can expect a child to read stories. So when we want children to start reading sentences, usually if you Google on the web and say, okay, I would like some reading practice worksheets or something, you'll get something like this. I have a bat, my pen is red, is it in the den? Nicely created material. But what is one issue with this? What do you think? So I have these 3 sentences that I'm getting my, say, 5-year-old or 6-year-old to read, and they have just learnt words. They know the word bat, they know the word pen, etc. They're decoding and reading like pen. They're reading like that, or they may be reading by spelling, R-E-D, read. At that stage, you are introducing these 3 sentences one evening. You are introducing all these 3 sentences and asking them to read. What's the problem, you think, with these 3 sentences? They are good sentences. What's the problem with them? Each of these sentences have a completely new set of words. There are no repetitions at all. So if you're looking at, no, they are easy sentences, but there will be children who are not able to start reading sentences. I'm looking at that stage where they're reading words, but not moving on to sentences. So what we need is a lot of repetition like this. So we call this stretching sentences. So here the sentence stretches. Now, how do you stretch a sentence? So for example, I'll take the sentence, the box has a lid, right? And now I have the sentence, the box has a lid. Now I want to give a second sentence. Instead of giving completely different sentence like the cat is on the mat, usually that's what we do. But instead of that, supposing I give this sentence, the box has a big lid. So what is the advantage, you think, by having this as the next sentence? What is the, how is the child finding it easier? Can anybody tell me?
Words are repeating.
Yes, the words are repeating. So there is just one word here, which is new, big. So they have already read this with some difficulty. The BOX, box, or whatever. By phonics, they would read it as box, has a lid, and they'll read very slow. If you see, at that time, at that age, when they have just started reading, their speed of reading will be very slow. So instead of giving the next sentence as an unconnected sentence, give it as a stretched sentence, where you're stretching this sentence here by adding one new word. That's all. So all they have to do is read this one new word. The rest of it they've already read, so they'll remember. So the box has a big lid. So what can be the next sentence? The tin box has a big lid. So you've stretched the sentence a little bit more. Can we stretch it even more? Yeah. The tin box has a big red lid. So we can keep stretching sentences with very, very small words that they know to read. For example, the next one you can say, the new tin box has a big red lid, right? Or you can say, the bug is on the tin box with a big red lid. So small new words you're introducing in each sentence. So instead of giving sentences like this, like in what we saw here, where I have a bat, my pen is red, and is it in the den, have no connection with each other. Here, what we are doing is actually stretching the same sentence to create these different sentences. So this is a very, very important technique, and it has helped a lot of children. I've personally taught many kids, and suddenly it clicks that, oh, I'm reading sentences. So till then, they were only reading words, and suddenly they get the confidence that, yes, I can read sentences. Actually, they're not really reading sentences, but we give them the confidence that however long a sentence is, you can read it because it's easy. So you keep repeating. Of course, later you'll have to move into any sentence, but this is a very, very good bridge where we bridge the gap from the words to the sentences. Put this in the middle. Put the stretching sentences in the middle, then go to any random sentence. This technique is very, very useful for children. Now, you may say that, no, this is very obvious and I don't think it is, very useful. So before I go to the next slide, I just want to know how many of you can read the Tamil script. If it's yes, just raise your hand. I mean, raise your hand, either physical hand or your Zoom hand, whichever. Just raise your hand. How many of you? Okay, so 2 people can read the Tamil script. Okay, so I'll show you the Hindi script. I hope, okay, maybe you can you also read the Hindi script? Okay, so let me first experiment and show you with Tamil, because many people don't know the Tamil script. So I want to pick a script that you don't know as an adult, because as adults, we've forgotten how we learned to read. Right? Because we learned it so young, we forgot how it was when we didn't know to read anything. So just to give us that memory back, I'm going to just show you this example. Now, those who know Tamil, please don't say. Those who don't know Tamil, now so I have written English words, but the script is Tamil. Okay, these are all English words. This is an English sentence, but I've used Tamil script, just to show you how children feel when they see something on the paper, right? Because they don't know to read anything, whether it's English or mother tongue, they may not know to read anything. So this is how they will see a set of symbols on a page. So now if I ask you to read this, for example, if I ask Rashmi or Bhavna to read this, or Anvi's mom, you won't know to read this, correct? Do you know what is this sentence?
No.
Okay. So now I'll tell you that this sentence, actually, it's not a Tamil sentence. The meaning is not in Tamil. This is the, okay? This is pen. This is. It's is. This is in the cup. Okay? So I have written in Tamil, I have written the pen is in the cup. Okay? So now you know Tamil. Now suddenly in just 2 seconds, you have learned the Tamil script, right? Okay, now I'm going to give you. Now, you don't know, so far you never knew Tamil script. So now I'm going to give you one more sentence, or before that, I will tell you that this symbol or this word here, this script, means red. This word is red. Okay. Now, Anvi's mom, I'd like you to now read this sentence. You will be able to read it. Compare and read.
The red pen is in the cup.
Yes, exactly. So now you've read Tamil, right? So now I'll give you one more word. Bhavna, I'll give you one more word. This is tin. Okay? This is tin.
The red pen is in the tin cup.
In the red cup. Okay. Now, this next one, Rashmi, you can read. Or Kajal. Kajal knows Tamil. Kajal, do you know Tamil?
No, ma'am.
Then you try. You try. Kajal, try the last one.
The red pen is in the red cup.
This last one, last sentence.
The red pen is in the red tin cup.
Yes, excellent. See, so now within a matter of few seconds, all of you could read Tamil. You really can't read. I understand that. But just by, so this is not magic, but just by matching. So now children will be able to read. So for them, even this is difficult, right? Because they are just starting to read. The pen is in the cup. If you use, so if when I go back to my earlier example, so the box has a lid, the box has a big lid. Now you see that by just introducing one new word, you're giving them the confidence and the speed to read a full sentence. A lot of time, children who have just started reading will read like this. The, in, box. By the time they reach the end of the sentence, they've forgotten what's the beginning of the sentence. So they don't understand. That's one of the main reasons. And I've used a very simple example, but for parents whose children are older, 3rd standard, 4th standard, you can see sometimes the children skip words or read them wrong. Right? So that also, and also they don't understand. That's because they're decoding every word slowly. And because their speed is slow in decoding, they don't understand. They've forgotten what they've read in the beginning of the sentence, because it takes them a lot of time to just read the sentence. So when the reading is very slow, then what happens is comprehension or understanding becomes difficult. So to speed up their reading, so the same technique, the technique which we can use at 5 years or 4 years, where you get children to move from words to sentences, same technique can be used for speed reading also, which can be used in any class. So you have a simple sentence, use one extra word in the next one, use another extra word, a new word, then another new word. You can use longer words if your child is more comfortable there. I've used very small words just to give you an example, right? So all of you have read Tamil now, so you can now read Tamil, certified as Tamil readers, right? Okay, so I had just done the same thing in Hindi. So those who knew Tamil, you can actually see this. So this is a pot in Hindi. So again, now if this is hot, then with just matching the pattern, the child can figure out that this is a hot pot. And if this is big, then this sentence becomes, this is a big hot pot, right? So the same idea, why I put this in Indian language is not to, mess up your Hindi and Tamil, because this is a very bad way of writing Hindi and Tamil, but to demonstrate how it is for children when they see something which is so new, because we've forgotten. And actually one time when I realized this, when I was learning piano and I had to read the musical notes, I couldn't read it for the life of me. I tried so hard. It was so difficult because suddenly I'm dealing with symbols after so many years, dealing with symbols that I cannot read. I think a lot of us as parents have forgotten how we learn to read. So we sometimes forget how difficult it may be for children when they read a new language. Right? So this was just a small thing. Yeah. So this is a stretching sentence example where let's try this. So I'm going to type the sentences that you give me. So let's go very fast. Okay. So I would request everybody to open up and, try to say a sentence. So I start with the boy has a bag. We're going to now stretch this sentence. We're really going to stretch this sentence by using
Boy
these
has a red
words.
bag.
By using these words. Yeah.
The boy has a red bag.
Yeah. So I'm going to type. You can't use the same word again. Okay. So someone else has to say with another word. Yeah, the boy has a red bag. Yes,
ma'am, the boy has a new red bag.
Yes, very good. The boy has a new red bag.
The boy has
Okay, sorry. One at a time, please. Yeah, just yeah.
The tall boy has a new red bag.
So I'm going to paste this, and all I need to do is enter. The tall boy has a new red bag. Excellent. Then next one.
The tall boy has a new cute bag.
Has a cute new red bag.
New red bag.
Okay. And then
The boy has a cute new long bag.
a new red long bag. Excellent. Okay.
Ma'am, the brown tall boy has a cute new red long bag.
Okay, the brown tall boy has a cute new red long bag. Okay, fine, good.
The brown tall boy has a cute new red long soft bag.
Excellent, super. Okay. Then, can we stretch it further? Is this the end of our stretching?
Ma'am,
The
the
tall
brown.
boy has a cute new red, long, soft, nice bag.
Nice bag. Okay. Excellent. Anybody else?
Ma'am, the
The
brown
tall boy has
tall.
a cute new red, long, soft, nice, tiny bag.
Tiny bag. Yes. So we can't use tiny for the boy because he's already tall. So yeah. Anyone else?
Ma'am, the brown tall lean boy has a cute
Yes.
new.
Excellent. Yeah. So lean boy can also be added. So the brown, tall, lean boy has a cute, red, long, soft, nice, tiny bag. Okay, great. So see how we have stretched this sentence to form such a long sentence. So from here, we have gone there. So this is a very, very useful activity that you can play both for speaking as well as for reading with your child. And if they are going to read, then you can create these sentences and give it to them and ask them to read. And it becomes very, very easy for them to start reading longer and longer sentences. So children sometimes they get scared when they see too much text or too long. If the sentence is too long, then they get worried and say that, this is too much, I can't read this. But by giving them this activity of stretching sentences, you can actually make sure they have the confidence to read any sentence, however long it is. Because now that they've got used to reading long sentences, next time you can give them completely different words also, they'll be able to read it. So the main thing in reading is confidence building. Because when we start reading, how scary it is for us to learn a new thing, especially in front of someone. So if I learned the piano or I learned some musical instrument, first thing I don't want to do is to play in front of somebody else, right? But for reading, always the teacher will say, stand up and read in class. And problem is everybody will hear your mistakes. It's a very, very scary thing for a child. So our role as parents is to make sure they get a lot of confidence. And make their mistake as less as possible. So the less mistakes they make, the more confident they'll get. Then it's all right to, try new things. But so stretching sentences activity, you can use it for older kids. You can ask them to stretch the sentence just by speaking. It's a fun activity. You can do this even while going in the bus or the train or the car or wherever you're traveling. You can say, how long can we stretch the sentence by using any word? So that's a very good speaking activity. But in terms of reading, it helps a lot because of one main factor, repetition. Repeat, repeat, repeat. You may find it boring, but children love repetition and they need repetition to learn because you give them new things that breaks their confidence in the beginning. After that, once they're able to do, they'll say, no, I don't want the same thing. Give me something else. They're not going to use this for very long, but it's very, very important for them to use it when they need it, right? So for example, it's like some children who drink from the bottle. They can drink from the spoon, but you need to wean them off slowly, right? So it's not that they can do everything at every time. They just need small steps. And then at some point, they're going to discard this and move towards real, reading any storybook. But this step is very, very important as a bridge between words and sentences. So I hope, you will find this useful, and all your, the children, whichever age group, you can adapt this activity in various ways to help your child learn this, both reading and this. So why I use this was for every small step. I mean, you don't have to do a dance like this, but for every small step, reward them. Give them some small sticker, give them some kind of a reward. It's not always material things like, some chocolate, not like that, but appreciate them for small steps that they make. I think that's very important as parents, because in today's world where many times as they move from standard 2, standard 3, I don't think they get the kind of personal attention at school. So it's very important for us for them to feel that we feel that they are making progress. Something new they are learning every week. Forget about other kids. Don't compare them with other children, but look at what have you learned new this week. for the child. So has my child learned something new this week, and focus on that, and appreciate them for that small step that they've taken. Okay, so now we're going to have a small, we are going to touch upon a few more important concepts through a quiz. So I'll first, a poll will come on your screen, just answer it. And after that, we can discuss a little bit more about the question itself. So it's the first question. Yeah, B, can you put the poll? Which of these? So I've put 4 images, right? A, B, C, and D, 4 images. Which of these is suitable for beginning readers? Assume that there is a book like this, and there is a book like this, there's a book like this, and there's a book where the text is like this. Which of these you think would be useful for a child who has just started
Option D,
reading?
ma'am.
No, just put it in a
Option
poll.
D.
Just type it in your poll. Yeah, so 100%. So yeah, so everybody is saying that yeah, so all of you have said that option D is the right answer. Now let's see what are the what are the aspects of option D that is actually useful. So this is at a stage where they moved beyond stretching sentences, they are moved to reading small paragraphs, right? But even then, so what's the problem with option A, you think? What is the problem with option A? Yeah, Kajal, you're on mute. Unmute.
Hello. Letter font is too small, ma'am.
Yes, it is the font is really small. So make sure that the font, so whenever you are introducing books to them, or if you are yourself writing and giving something, make sure you write it in a big size, big font size. Okay, don't use small, because children will not be able, that is children who are just starting to read or who are finding reading difficult, will not be able to read small font, right? Now, what about option B? Option B is also small, but it is a little better than A. Can you tell me why?
It has small sentences.
Exactly. So the longer the sentence, which is why we do stretching sentences. Now, if you don't do stretching sentences and you come here, they're going to get very, underconfident that they will not be able to read this. So even after you do stretching sentences, when you go on to any sentence where there is less repetition, at that point, we must keep in mind to keep the sentences short. So if there is once on a rainy day, I went outside my house. Now, if there is an option of breaking this up, break it. Wherever you get a chance, break the sentence. It is very important for children to read short sentences. So B is better than A, but B still has the problem of a font size being too small. What about C? C is short sentences. C is large size. But what is the problem with C?
Ma'am, the spacing, ma'am.
The spacing is less difficult for
Exactly.
kids to understand.
So 3 important things which we have seen, and obviously, so D is the right answer. Why? What are the 3 things that D satisfies? This page satisfies. 1, it is large size letters, large size font, right? That's 1. So when you choose storybooks, when you choose a textbook, when you choose to write something for your child, or as a teacher, you're writing on the board, make sure your letter size is large. That's the first thing that children need. Second one is that they need short sentences. So here the sentences are short. And the third thing is they need a lot of space between one line and the other. Without space, because their eyes tend to focus on one particular word. So if they try to focus here, you can't focus because everything is so close to each other. They can't focus. They cannot decode. By the time they decode rainy and they read rainy, they forget what they're reading. They might end up saying it was a rainy day, my house, right? So the third thing is that you definitely need space between your sentences. So this is something to keep in mind. Okay, let's go to question 2. Yeah, so all of you know that for small children, we use phonics in English, and many schools have started using phonics as well. And phonics is a very good methodology which bases English reading on sounds of letters and not the spelling of the words, right? So in phonics, we read through sounds. Now, my question is, why does English reading alone need phonics? Why not other Indian languages? Like if I have to read Hindi, I don't need phonics. I don't need phonics for Hindi. Nobody says I use phonics for Hindi. Nobody says I use phonics for Tamil or any other language, right? Why is it that only English requires phonics? Is it because phonics is a foreign methodology and English is a foreign language? Or B, the sounds of the letters in the Indian language is the same as the name of the letter. Third one, it is easier to learn spellings of words in Indian languages. So that's why we use. And D, English words are longer, right? So that's why we need phonics. Which is the right answer, you think? So you're at 50-50 split. So I'll end the poll. And so, yeah, so half of you have said that B is the right answer and half of you have said C is the right answer. What really is it? So if you look at it, the right answer is B, right? So B is the right answer. But why? So what does this mean? The sounds of letters in the Indian language is the same as their name. For example, if I take the letter P in Hindi, right? Or P in Tamil. So those who don't know Hindi, I'm writing in Tamil as well. So if you take the letter P, the letter name, the name of this letter is P. The sound it makes is P. The name of this letter in Tamil is P. The sound it makes is P. But if I take English, the name is P, but the sound is P, right? So the name is different from the sound. So because of this, that's why Indian languages have 200 letters, 200 plus letters, whereas in English, you just have 26 letters in the alphabet. Because each letter has a different name and a different sound, and you have to club letters to make the sounds. So that's why it becomes difficult for children when they learn English, and that's the main difference between English and Indian languages, most of the Indian languages. And that's why there is something called phonics, where you have to learn the name of the letters separately, but more importantly, you have to learn the sound of the letters and sounds when many letters come in combination. For example, if I'm using this, if I use this word, right? Now, P and T, they don't mix. P says P and T, it says T, right? Or Pata, forget if I just use the word Pata. So P says P and Ta says Ta. We are not combining and suddenly getting a new sound. But in English, when P joins with H, as in phone, it suddenly becomes F, right? So the name of the letter P and H, the names are P and H, but the sounds they make are P and H, and when they combine, they make another sound called F. So it's a very, very different thing from an Indian language, and that's why English requires phonics for children to learn to read. Okay, so the third question for you, this is just, I'm sure all of you know this. So to help children read more, we must make them read their lessons every day. We must read stories that they like or help them read stories that they like, teach them spellings or give them word dictation, which will help children's reading skills to improve. Yeah. So some of you have said, many of you have said that we should help them read stories that they like. Some of you have said that we must make them read their lessons and give them word dictation. Now, dictation here actually helps with writing skills, right? But not really reading. So word dictation with spelling actually does not help the reading skill very much, right? So what we really need to do, and lessons will make them learn the lesson. Like I mentioned before, if they have a lesson called Alice in Wonderland, they'll know where Alice went or what she did, how she went down the hole, all that they'll know. But they will not be able to identify English as a language of expression. So English as a subject, as we said, is different from English as a language. So the best way, of course, there are all these ways, but the best way to make children read more is to read stories. Either if they can't read, then we read them stories that they like to listen to, or if they can read, get them stories or books.
Your voice is very slow.
Sorry, my voice is soft.
It's perfect, ma'am.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. I'll try to speak a little closer to the mic. So we read stories that they like. So of subjects that they like. So if a child likes games, then read a story about games. But some children like snakes a lot. I don't know. I've seen like some children really like snakes. Read them a story about a snake, or read them some science facts about a snake, or help them read those things. Don't make them read something that is boring for them. The worst thing is to make children read something that they're not interested in. Read them stories that they like on subjects that they like, or help them read it, right? If they can't read it themselves, read it out to them. So don't say that, okay, today I chose this story for you. You have to figure out what they like and read those kind of stories with them, right? So that is actually the best way to make children read more. Okay. So we've seen a lot of techniques today about helping children to learn to read English. And we need to, of course, there are many more techniques, and it's not just reading, it's also speaking and comprehension. So in our future workshops, we will be doing other techniques, not just on reading, but also on speaking, on comprehension, many other techniques that we have, we do in our classes as well. And so I'd like to know your opinion that if in the next ELF parent workshop, would you choose A, B, C, or D? Can you please just, yeah, so we need, this poll is just for us, Abhi. Yeah, so you can just post the poll. Or Pratibha. Yeah, please give us your opinions. Okay. So most of you have said that you'd like to know techniques on both, and some of you have said on speaking. Okay, great. Thank you. And yeah, you can stop sharing. Yeah. Okay, so thanks for your feedback. So since we're almost out of time, I have a small final bonus game, which if you want, we can play, which actually is, you can use that also with the children. Just a minute. Yes. Yeah. So before we go into that, so we used all of these techniques in our classes, and you know, if you would like to you know more, you can contact us after the session also. So in our classes, or even with you at home, one thing that you need to really focus on is are our activities interactive, and are we teaching with interest? If we find it boring, children are going to find it boring. And is our child participating in the activity, or are they just listening to us? And fourth is, are they achieving some small goal every week? Any small goal. It need not be something so you know different or dramatic. It just has to be a small goal. So in our classes also, this is how we approach it, with a lot of interactive content, a lot of teachers who spend time figuring out what each child knows or doesn't know. Make sure that every child has a chance to participate, and most importantly, that they achieve or learn something from this. No point us teaching if children don't actually learn. So this is a game that you can play with your kids, both if you are teaching or if you are at home. This is a game that you can keep adapting and playing. So this is about rhyming words. So you have to bring an object. So shall we play it? Will you actually go and get stuff, or you want to just guess it? So we have this scavenger hunt where we say you have 1 minute, and in this 1 minute, you have to run and bring an object from your kitchen that rhymes with moon. So anybody has it close by?
Spoon.
Yeah, so that's this. I have it here. I was just eating something sometime back, so I have this. So yeah, that's the spoon. Yeah, Rashmi got it. Cool. Yes. Okay. And bring your favorite dash rhymes with cook. So why don't you share what's your favorite dash which rhymes with
Book.
book? Yeah, is that your favorite book, Rashmi?
No, this is just a notebook. My friend is
Just a
solving some
notebook.
puzzle, so I grabbed it from
Yes.
her.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe some of you can share what your favorite kind of book is, not particularly book, but what your favorite types of, because unless we read, very difficult to expect children to read. Yeah. Others like Kavita, Shweta, what do you like to read about? Which subject do you, which kind of topic do you like to read about? Kajal, Madhavi?
Mask.
Huh? Okay, someone is guessing the third one. Yes, something that we use a lot these days, and we're hoping not to use it ever again, that rhymes with task is mask. So you can ask them to quickly go and fetch this, get this. So this is a scavenger hunt kind of a thing where you have to run around. I don't think any of you want to run around right now. So I'm just going to just tell you this. But with children, you can do this where they quickly run and get this, right? So you can play a lot of rhyming word activities with them, and that will help them listen to the sound and actually see how to spell it. So you can show them the word task or the word moon, and then they'll figure out how they would actually spell the word spoon because it rhymes with it, right? So you can do a lot of games with sounds. And yeah, so the last one was, of course, how was this workshop? And I hope you had fun. Yeah, I hope you had fun with it. Okay, so thanks for being a great audience. Yeah, if you want to contact us, you can call or WhatsApp to this number 96001 and we will keep having such workshops. So if you are interested, we will we can include the topics that you asked for. Those who have not given their contact details, please put it in chat right now, because we'll be sending you worksheets and other things on the group as well as to you. So please send us your phone number on the chat. So as part of this WhatsApp group, if you're we also send some digital worksheets and quizzes which you can use for your children. We send it across all age groups, right from kindergarten up to class 5. So you can use that with your children as well. So if you remain in the group will then be modified to share such content with you. Yes, so I will stop share. So thank you very much. I will end. So if anyone wants to share anything before I end, we will end with a small activity.
Ma'am, I wanted to know, do you all have any workshop to teach how to make the online class more interactive for young kids of age group from 2.5 to 3 years?
We haven't had that
basically
so far, but
more of animation workshops, if you have.
We did have one, but we do have workshops for teachers. So you just you can just message that number 96001 So for our next teachers workshop, we will.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I'm just going to do a small activity which you can do with your children whenever they're bored. You're trying to teach them something. You're doing lessons with them. They're bored. They're sleepy. I don't know if your kids do this, but I've seen most kids, including mine, who the minute you take out the book, they'll yawn. They're just sitting down. The first thing they'll do is like give a nice big yawn, right? And you're frustrated. Abhito, we are starting, and they have gone into sleep mode. So when they are in sleep mode, what you can do is we do this leap games. So we call this leave everything and play. So whenever they are bored, we suddenly say leap game, and then they wake up, right? So one leap game is claps. So usually, how do we clap? So this is how we clap. So can you all just clap your hands? Just pretend you're kids. I mean, here we have to be, you have to shake and jump and everything. Okay. Now, so I'm going to teach you other kinds of clap. And then we're going to do it very fast. So this is the usual clap. We're not going to do this. Very boring. Okay. Air clap. Do the air clap. Air clap. Yes, yes. Air clap. Okay. Chapati clap. Like we're making chapatis. Chapati clap. Chapati clap. Air clap. Air clap. Chapati clap. Air clap. Chapati clap. Now one more. Goli soda clap. Okay. Have all of you had goli soda? I'm sure all of you might have had. So that pop sound comes, right? You have to pop it. So this is the goli soda clap. Do it. Goli soda clap. Goli soda clap. Chapati clap. Air clap. Goli soda clap. Goli soda clap. Air clap. Chapati clap. Goli soda clap. Do it with me. Faster. Air clap. Chapati clap. Goli soda clap. Okay. And then the last one, you might know this. This is the rain clap. So first it starts drizzling. So very lightly, right? One finger. So it's just started drizzling. Suddenly we find it's getting heavier. So 2 fingers, right? And heavier. And heavier. And it's raining really heavily now. And suddenly there is a lot of thunder and it's raining really fast. Okay, so that's the rain clap. Okay, so now I'm going to call out in different. Okay, chapati clap. I'm not doing it. Chapati clap. Air clap.
Air clap.
Air clap. Goli soda clap. Goli soda clap. Air clap. If you do it and I say something differently, you're out. Okay, air clap. Chapati clap. Chapati clap. Goli soda clap. Chapati clap. Goli soda clap. Air clap. Rain clap. Let's end with the rain clap. Drizzle.
Drizzle. Rain clap.
Heavier. Even more heavier. And thunder. Okay, thank you so much.